Today, we're going to be learning all about rock layers and fossils. And the objective of today is that I will learn about rocks and fossils that tell a story about the history of the earth and how the land changes over time. So, this is what you will be learning in this lesson. So let's get started with rock layers. As you can see in this image, over time, different things happened on the earth that caused new layers of rock to form on top of older layers. Some of the layers might have been formed from sand or mud that settled on the bottom of an ocean river. If you look here, you see a shell, and as you can tell from the very top, it's not a water filled area. It's not a pond or an ocean. But these layers of rock show that there used to be water here a long, long time ago. Other layers could have also been formed from volcanic lava hardening into rock. So there are many ways layers can be created, and that's one of the ways. And by studying the location and types of fossils found in each layer, we can actually tell the order of the layers. The oldest layer is on the bottom, and the layers above it are the new layers. So as you can tell here at the very bottom, you have these different types of rocks. These two were happened at the same time, and you know that these are the oldest layers. And then the next layer happens over time, and then another incident occurs and another layer happens. If a shell is found above rock layers with land animal fossils, it tells us that the area used to be an area land, then it got covered with water. So this is very similar to this layer. The shell was at the very bottom, and then the layers above are land layers. As you can tell, these are not sea creature fossils. And you know that fossils tell a story, and another way you can tell if the landscape has changed is by looking at the different rock layers in a canyon wall. So if you find yourself in a canyon, look at the walls and see if the pebbles in one layer are dense and more close together versus another layer where the boulders are huge and human sized. So, I mentioned that you can also look at some rocks, but I wanted to emphasize that fossils can actually be found by many different types of people. And in fact, if you're looking for a fossil, then that is a type of person that can find them because paleontologists find them and they get paid. You also get collectors who simply like to collect fossils, find fossils, and you also get people on hikes finding fossils. And what kind of tools are used when you look for fossils? Some of them can be rock hammers, brushes, tweezers, chisels, picks, and sieves. And sieves are to kind of sort out the larger pebbles from the smaller fossils. And if you're looking for a fossil, make sure you're not damaging the fossil. So you work very just carefully. And so let's get into fossils. What fossils can you find? You can see bones, teeth, shells, trace fossils, casts and molds, amber, and even petrified wood. We're going to go into each of these. And the first, we're going to go into our bones, teeth, and shells. Now, these are the hardest parts of the body and can survive for a long amount of time. And so while the rest of the body decomposes, the bones, teeth, and the shells can last for a very long amounts of time. But what happens when everything from an animal or a plant decomposes? Well, we get trace fossils. And these trace fossils are fossilized traces of animals' behavior, such as burrows or nests. So you can maybe see the molds, and you'll learn more about molds soon. Molds of nests or burrows where animals used to stay in. And these casts or molds are sometimes the original material of the body of an organism will decay over time, but the mold or the cast of that decayed body part will turn into rock. And so many dinosaur fossils are actually found this way. Amber is another type of hardened tree sap, and that can preserve insects and other small organisms inside of it. And the last type of fossil we will be going over is petrified wood. This type of wood has turned to stone after a long period of time, and this can happen when it is buried in sediment. So, we are going to be going over some questions with your either partners or your group mates. And so, let's go over some of the questions. What are rock layers? Why would you find a shell in a bottom layer in the desert? What is one type of fossil you can find? Describe it.